Very good morning, children. Let us continue our lesson, that is challenges in improving agricultural produce or products. So we were discussing about irrigation, so how it is helping in increasing the yield of the crop. So now let us recall once the uses of water. So water is essential for agriculture, is it not? Water is very much essential for any living organism. So to get good yield in farming, water is needed for the plants. Then, so here water is helping in dissolving the nutrients which are present in soil, and the nutrients are made available to the plants. That is only because of water only. So different irrigation methods are used by the farmers to supply water to the different crops. But here farmers are very much fond of growing certain crops only, like paddy or sugarcane or wheat. Why they are very much interested in growing paddy or wheat or sugarcane means so they are having more and more commercial value. Apart from that, marketing is also very easy for the farmers to do. So that's why they are willing to grow paddy or sugarcane or wheat. But here this growing of paddy or sugarcane in the fields continuously, they require more water. Paddy, sugarcane, so they take more water. More water is needed for the crops. But what is going to happen here? So when the water bodies are getting dried up, at the time the grain formation or the growth of the plants, that paddy crop or sugarcane crop or any other crops, they cannot grow properly, and that shows the impact on the yield of the crop. Is it clear to you? So the farmers cannot get good yield of the crop. So that is the reason here the farmers are advised by the agricultural officers to grow the crops which can grow with less water. So what do we call such type of crops which can grow with less water means they are called as rain fed crops. Rain fed crops, or in Telugu they are called as ఆరు తడి పంటలు. ఆరు తడి పంటలు. So what does it mean? Pantalu means crops. ఆరు తడి means with minimum water, less supply of water, they can give good yield. Is it clear to children? So to avoid the water scarcity, in what way means when the farmers grow paddy or sugarcane in their fields, so they have to spend lot of amount on that. In what way? For electricity bills or for irrigation purpose or manuring. For all these more and more expenses they have to face. So to avoid all these problems, the officers are advising farmers to grow this rain-fed crops or ఆరు తడి పంటలు, which can grow with less availability of water, even scarcity of water, even if it is there also, or minimum water if it is present, then it is enough for the crops to grow. So what type of crops are grown in this rain-fed crops? Like bajra, jowar, okay, bajra, jowar, maize, or vegetable yielding plants. So is it clear to you? So they are all completing their life cycles less span of time and using less amounts of water. Is it clear to children? So that's why here the farmers are advised to grow the ఆరు తడి పంటలు. Is it clear to you? Why? Because when they grow paddy or sugarcane, water more and more they have to supply, and if water is not there in the water bodies, then the crop yield will be less. Is it clear to you? And they have to spend more amount, more expenditure. So to avoid all these, the farmers are advised to grow this rain-fed crops. Is it clear to children? So which helps them to get good yield of the crop, and they can also give good money to them. Is it clear to children? So that's why here farmers are supposed to grow dry land crops. So these rain-fed crops are also called as ఆరుతడి పంటలు are also called as dry land crops. Dry land crops. Is it clear to you? So bajra, jowar, maize, vegetable yielding plants can be grown. So now let us learn what are the different types of irrigation methods which are used by the farmers, or which you come across, which you have seen. If we see old methods, if we see like bells will be there, and the water is going to be just lifted by using bullocks, and it is irrigated to the fields. So it was manual work, like, or Buddha we call it as is it not, children? So they are all old methods, but the best methods are there nowadays. The farmers are going to use so different methods. So like irrigation methods, once if you recall, which you learned in the 8th class, like basin irrigation, furrow irrigation. Is it clear to you? And the latest methods, if we take what is that means, sprinklers or sprinkler system of irrigation, then drip irrigation. So basin irrigation means the entire surface of the fields will be seen with water. Because of that some amount of water is getting evaporated, which is resulting in wasting of water. Then furrow irrigation, in furrow irrigation also the water is allowed to be supplied to the crops in the furrows, kaluvalu laga. Is it clear to you? So because of that also some amount of water is getting wasted, children. But sprinkler type of irrigation or drip irrigation, these are the modern techniques of irrigation methods. Is it clear to you? So in sprinkler irrigation, what is happening means through nozzles the water is applied on the surface of the plants, so that the temperature of the plants will be maintained and the moisture of the soil will be maintained, and less amount of water will be used for the crops to grow. Is it clear to you? So many advantages are there. So hill slope regions, whatever the crops which are grown, for them this sprinkler type of irrigation is useful. Whereas drip irrigation means it is the best method, and exactly to the roots only the water is supplied through the small pipes. Channels are made very much close to the root system, and drop by drop the water is going to be just supplied to the fields. So where the water as it is flowing inside the small pipes, and through the nozzles the water is just supplied to the fields drop by drop. So we can minimize the water loss to large extent. Is it clear to children? So that's why drip irrigation is the best method for supply of water to the different crops. Is it clear to children? Then so here what are the other methods like conservation? How we can conserve the water? Okay, so you know that different water sources you are going to observe, like rivers, ponds, lakes. Is it not, children? So now how we can conserve the water? Conserve means preserve the water. So you know that in villages you will be observing village tanks. So by constructing more and more percolation tanks. So these are having dikes on 3 sides, which is made of locally available material like sand or gravel, and stones will be there, and clay will be used. Only that soil particles are used. Okay, cheru antam chudandi adi. Is it clear to you? So because of these percolation tanks, what is going to happen means as they are built in low-lying areas, the water whichever is collected from the uplying areas, it is going to be filled in that tanks, and when the water is stored there because of dikes or bunds, which are seen or which are constructed with this masonry work. Is it clear to you? So because of that, what will happen means the groundwater level will be increased. Is it clear to you? Nowadays most of the farmers they are going to depend on groundwater for irrigation. So groundwater, how they are going to get? Through bore wells they are going to get. Is it clear to children? So then next one is said to be check dams. Check dams. So we observe small streams of water, కాలువలు అంటాం చూడండి, అట్లాంటివన్నీ కూడా when in the rainy season the water whichever is flowing, then and there only if we construct check dams, then the water is going to be stored in the uplying area, so that what will happen means again it will help in maintaining the groundwater level. Apart from that, watershed. Okay, so this watershed is a process to improve groundwater level, like constructing check dams or percolation tanks like that, and that will help in preserving water. Water? Groundwater can be preserved. Is it clear to children? Or groundwater, the amount of groundwater will be maintained because water table is present in the under the layers of the soil, so that groundwater is going to be the source of water for the farmers for irrigating their crops. Is it clear to children? So by constructing check dams or the watersheds or percolation tanks or soak pits, all these are the different methods which help in conserving water. So nowadays conservation of water is very important or not? So if we follow all these methods, then that will help in maintaining the groundwater level. Is it clear to children? Then, so now we'll come to the next point. What is that? In the proper management methods, crop management methods. So till now we completed this importance of water and how the water is supplied and what are the different types of irrigation methods, all that we have discussed. Now we will come to the next point, that is said to be plant nutrients. Plant nutrients. Plant nutrients. So now you know that every living organism is in need of energy. So how do we get energy means everyone can give answer, that is through food. Is it not children? So the food contains different nutrients. Is it not? So like carbohydrates are there, proteins are there, or fats are there, vitamins are there, minerals are there. So all these are nutrients which are present in the food, and when we consume these nutrients through food, they give us energy. So just like how we are in need of energy, the plants are also in need of nutrients. Is it not? So how these nutrients are going to be taken up by the plants, how the materials are going to be entering into the plant cells, and other question is said to be plants also require different kinds of nutrients, how they are going to be taken up. So if we take carbon dioxide, that is one a component or compound which is necessary for the plants for the process of photosynthesis. So along with that carbon dioxide, water is also needed for the plants. Is it not children? So they are taking water also. Water is taken up from the soil with the help of roots. So then the water and carbon dioxide are going to reach to the leaves and through xylem tissue, which you learnt in the previous class, and they are preparing food by the process called photosynthesis. Is it not children? If the farmers are growing same type of crops in the fields, for example, as you learnt in 8th class, like Kharif season and Rabi season. So in both the seasons, if the farmers are growing same type of crop, that is paddy in Kharif season and in Rabi season also again paddy only, what is going to happen? After few seasons, the land is going to become unfertile, unhealthy. It becomes exhausted with the nutrients. So nutrients are lost, or nutrients are used up by the crops whatever are grown in both the seasons. Then next season, when the farmers start growing crops, then that will show impact on the crop so that results in less yield of the crop. So how we can maintain the soil health? And what are the different types of nutrients that plants are in need? Okay, how the plants are going to make use of nutrients? If we observe, so the plants are going to take mineral salts, children. The nutrients in the form of salts will be taken up when they are getting dissolved in water. Is it clear to you? So the roots are going to take that mineral salts and they will be used up by the plants for the proper growth. So now what kind of nutrients are taken and how many types of nutrients are there? How much amount of nutrients are needed by the plants? So all crops, they are not taking or they are not making use of same amount of nutrients. So different amounts of nutrients are needed for growing different types of crops. So now let us learn type of nutrients. Type of nutrients. So nutrients where the plants are making use of them are of two types. So some of the nutrients are taken up by the plants in large amounts, children. Okay, they are in need by the plants in larger quantity, excess quantity. Okay, large amounts, bulk quantity, the nutrients are used by the plants. Okay, so when those nutrients are called as a macronutrients. So what do you mean by this macronutrients? So macronutrients means they are used in large amounts for growth and development or for the development of different parts in the plants. Some nutrients are needed in large quantity. So such type of nutrients are called as macronutrients. Is it clear to you? So what are the macronutrients which we are observing? So examples are said to be nitrogen, then phosphorus, then potassium, etc. Okay, so all these are needed by the plants in large quantity, so they are called as macronutrients. Is it clear to children? Then other type is said to be micronutrients, which means used in less quantity, used in less amounts. So they are used by the plants in less quantity. తక్కువగా తీసుకుంటాయి కానీ their presence is very very important. Have you followed? So they are called as micronutrients. Is it clear to you? So examples for micronutrients are said to be zinc, molybdenum, calcium, boron, etc. Okay, zinc, molybdenum, calcium, boron, iron, copper, all these are used by the plants in less amounts. Is it clear to children? So they are called as micronutrients. So these macronutrients or micronutrients both are very much essential for getting good yield of the crop. Is it clear to you? By the farmers. So now if the farmers are growing same type of crop repeatedly in the fields, then the soil is getting exhausted with the nutrients or nutrients are lost. So to get the nutrients back to the soil, what they are going to do? So there is a natural process, no doubt. After the death of plants or animals, they are getting decomposed and the organic matter whichever is present, it gets to inorganic form and by the decomposing bacteria or fungi, and the nutrients which are present in dead plants or animals will be present in the soil or made available in the soil. Have you followed? But it takes a lot of time because it is taking place in a slow and steady process. So through cycles like you can learn like nitrogen cycle or carbon cycle. So they take lot of time for replenishing back of that nutrients to the soil. Is it clear to children? By decomposing. Is it clear to you? So but that much time we are not giving. Is it not children? To the fields, because continuously we are growing crops in the fields to bring the needs of people. Is it not children? In the sake of food. Is it not children? So that's why we are following some methods to give the nutrients to the or to make available of nutrients to the soil. So what are the different steps the farmers are following or using to get the nutrients in the soil or to make the soil more healthy? Is it clear to you? So here every time any of the crops show in the field absorb some required amount of nutrients. So the table is given in the book, page number 111. 111 you can observe here. Okay, so rice, wheat, millets, corn, sugarcane, then groundnut, all these are given. Then yield per hectare, so nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, major nutrients. So absorption of salts by the different crops, how much they are going to use. So this much amounts of that nutrients are going to be needed or used up by the plants. Is it clear to children? So you can observe this table. Yield will be increased because of adding nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Is it clear to you? So here some questions are given. What are they? If a field is cultivated for many years, what would happen to the nutrient content of the soil? So continuously in that particular field, if the crops are grown continuously, Kharif, Rabi, Kharif followed by Rabi, again Rabi followed by Kharif, like that, when the crops are grown continuously in the field, what is going to happen to the nutrients? So what will happen? The nutrients will be lost. Just like if I ask you continuously do work, so you will be exhausted. Teacher, we don't have energy, we are tired, like that we will tell. So same thing is going to happen. Is it not, children? So the nutrients, as they are not present in the soil, so the yield will be decreased. Then how does the soil get back or replenish these nutrients? So natural process it is there, I said just now. Apart from that, here by adding manures, by following some methods, proper crop management methods like rotation, we can use then adding of manures. So all these are adding of fertilizers, the organic manures. So all these will come under man-made processes which help in increasing the crop yield by adding more and more fertilizers to the soil. Is it clear to children? So now what are those methods, man-made processes which are used to increase the soil fertility? So first one is said to be by crop rotation method. Crop rotation method. Next one, using organic fertilizers, organic manures. And third one is said to be here chemical, using biofertilizers. So organic manures are chemical fertilizers. And by using biofertilizers from biological origin. Okay, so when we follow these methods, when the farmers follow these methods, that is crop rotation method, then using organic manures or chemical fertilizers, and using biofertilizers, that will help in replenishing the nutrients back to the soil, so that whenever the farmers are growing the crops, then that results in good yield of the crop. Is it clear to you? So let us learn about the crop rotation method. Okay. So if you observe fields, if you go to your villages, if you visit your villages, you will be observing the fields. Is it not? So do the farmers generally growing same type of crop? I think no. Is it not? If you have observed, is it clear to you? So if we observe the fields, the farmers are not growing the same type of crop, okay, in all the seasons. So in a field, different types of crops are grown, and what do we mean by crop rotation method? Means in one season, that is in Kharif season, if the farmers grow paddy in the field, paddy crop, and in the next season, that is Rabi season, we will observe the farmers growing the legume plants or vegetable yielding plants. Or any other crop like. Have you followed? Means farmers are not growing same type of crop. Okay. If they change the crop pattern, in Kharif season one type of crop, and in Rabi season another type of crop when it is grown, then that will help in maintaining the nutrient value in the soil. So that change of crop pattern in every season, that one we call it as a crop rotation method. Have you followed, children? Then so here why same crop is not supposed to be grown paddy continuously? Why? Because this paddy is an example of cereals. Cereals అంటే ఏంటివి తెలుగులో ఏమంటాం వాటిని? Staple food of our country is said to be paddy and wheat. Is it not, children? So wheat ఇవి గనక ఎక్కువగా పెంచితే paddy in all seasons if we grow, then the nutrients are lost from the field, so that will show the impact on the crop after few seasons, because the soil is exhausted. So more and more nutrients are needed for the growing of a paddy crop. Have you followed, children? So continuously as that same crop is grown, so the soil is exhausted, that nutrients are not there which are needed for a growing paddy crop. So this paddy, wheat or sugarcane, they take more and more nutrients, children. Is it clear to you? So to avoid that nutrients here, where same type of crop it is grown, no? So if they change the other type of crops, is it clear to you, in the same field? Have you followed? So then that will help in replenishing back. So this crop is making use of nutrients, so they are exhausted once the crop is grown, paddy crop is grown. So again, to make that soil more fertile or to make ready for growing again that paddy, what we have to do in next season? Legume plants or vegetable yielding plants, if we grow, as they are going to make use of less nutrients, and you know that legume plants, they contain root nodules. Okay, so in the root nodules rhizobium bacteria is present. So all bean family plants, they are going to give nitrogen salts to the soil. So that nitrogen will be used up by the paddy crop. So both crops, they are going to be giving good yield because of a crop rotation method. Have you followed, children? So that is the reason farmers are advised always by the agricultural officers to grow in Kharif, to go for a crop rotation method. Means in Kharif season when they are growing major crops like paddy or sugarcane, next season they are supposed to grow legume plants or bean family plants, bean family crops like red gram, Bengal gram, horse gram or peas. So if they are grown like that, then that will help in providing the important nutrients, macronutrients to the soil. So that's why it is very much beneficial to grow legume plants in the fields. When these legume plants are grown, it is very much useful for the paddy crop whenever it is grown in the same field. Is it clear to children? So now here nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium are important nutrients. Nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium are said to be important nutrients, and you can observe this table. So nitrogen, what for it is? It helps in the formation of new leaves, flowers at faster rate we can see. Then phosphorus. So phosphorus is going to help in growth of roots, and they will grow very much deeply, which helps in absorption of nutrients along with water. And potassium, it is very much important for the plants to grow very much resistant against the pests, that is diseases caused by insects or pests, children, and increasing the quality of smell, color and taste of the fruits. Is it clear to you? So that is going to happen because of this crop rotation method. Is it clear to you? So here to avoid nutrient deficiency in the soil, farmers cultivate alternate crops. They are changing the crop pattern. That one we call it as a crop rotation. So what kind of crops are grown here? So here a farmer cultivated sugarcane in the land for first 5 years. So next what he has to grow? Soya bean. Is it clear to children? Soya bean, when it is grown, then it will be helping sugarcane crop also. Then after cultivating paddy, black gram, groundnut can be grown. Okay, black gram means udad dal antam chudandi, uddul antam kada adi. Then groundnut, even they are grown, it will be helping paddy crop. Then after cultivation of tobacco, it is a commercial crop, mirchi can be grown. Then after cultivating red gram, maize, paddy can be grown. So like that, if we change that crops pattern, then it will help in increasing it will help in maintaining the nutrients in the soil, which results in the good yield of the crop. Have you followed? So remaining part of the lesson we will discuss tomorrow. Thank you.